talk about the stuff that hasn't been committed to, but it's widely talked about. Now, does anyone here see Arrested Development? Superbad? You know who Michael Cera is, Nick Honor's Infinite Playlist out here. He's being tapped to be Gilligan. Now, the reason this is interesting is that Ron Howard and company apparently have got everything ready for an Arrested Development movie. Everything except Michael Cera, George Michael, who apparently is hesitant to come do the show. And Jeffrey Tambor, who plays the father on the show, basically has gone so far as to say that he's going to use some influence to try to get him on board the show, which is causing some rather interesting rumbles through Hollywood, because the rumor is the story's a prequel. So how could George Michael be 17 years old or so when his character in a prequel would be about 10 or 11? Which makes people think it's a prequel. If we don't get him, if we do get him, it becomes a sequel. But Snake Plissken may be returning in a remake of Escape from New York. Now, originally Gerard Butler, who was in the 300, was tapped to be the new Snake Plissken. When asked about it, Kurt Russell was very diplomatic, but he was like, you know, Gerard's very good, but I always saw Snake as an all-American anti-hero, so perhaps a Scottish actor may not be the best guy to portray him. So, Justice League of America is still languishing out there, but hopefully you'll see that someday soon. Fantastic Voyage, where they shrink people down in a submarine and try to cure a blood clot, if I remember is what it was, maybe done again. And of course, with the modern technologies, they can do some fantastic stuff showing the inside of the human body. Look, forever in development, hopefully finally coming. Logan's Run is being talked about again. And Puss in Boots, Legend of the Ogre Killer, will be in the works from DreamWorks soon. Stephen King is talking about The Dark Tower coming.
Yes.
Finally, yes. Possibly as a TV series, film series, but they are in The Dark Tower. And just when you thought you were safe, Harold and Kumar 3 is on the agenda right now, so they are back. And yes, Doogie Howser survived and is likely going to be back once again. Jack Black's School of Rock 2 is being talked about. Lost Planet, the video game from Capcom, is being talked about. Hellboy 3 is still in the discussion stage, and Nick Cage is back with National Treasure 3. I can tell you that Lucas and Spielberg are currently talking about an Indiana Jones 5 right now, because they had such a good time, they made a lot of money. We talked about X-Files 3 in 2012. About a little over a year ago, they released the Blade Runner sets on DVD finally, the big master sets that have been held up forever in court battles due to the numerous producers that were involved with the film who had the rights. They finally wrapped that all up. We did an interview with a guy who is basically, he was a historian. He's been there since he was there on set when they did that, and over the years, since the film has taken on such a huge cult status, he's been one of the, the guys, the official historian, as it were. And we were talking about it and various things. There were rumors like, and the interview was quite good actually. We talked about the whole rumor. Is Deckard a replicant? Isn't he? Ridley Scott himself has over the years now changed his mind and said, yes, I think he was. And he told me, he said, one of Ridley's ideas was that they were going to reveal at the end that Deckard was actually a Nexus 7, and that there was a secret line, because we all heard about the guys who were chasing to the top of the line, the sixes and all that. He said they were going to, one of the ideas was to reveal that all the Blade Runners were actually a 7 series, that it was unbeknownst to everybody except a handful of people, Tyrell, who were convinced outright they were humans, they had no termination dates, nothing, but they were specifically designed to hunt replicants, to the point where they were physically inferior to the replicants, and so on and so forth, so there was absolutely no way to distinguish them. They didn't have, they had the emotions that a human would have. They had, literally the idea was with the 7s, they got it right. They were completely, absolutely no way to distinguish them from a human being, no matter how many tests you put them through. And that was going to be one of the twists that they unveiled. Well, I asked him, I said, look, there's been a lot of talk. Ridley Scott himself had even said that, yeah, it might be interesting to do another, Blade Runner film. He was going to call it Metropolis. It fell. There was a book series. They released books 2 and 3 in North America. Book 4 is only available in England. Now, he told me, he said, I can't tell you who, but one of the producers is apparently discussing a sequel to somebody right now. I don't know what's going to happen about that. Now, this is what I was able to dig up. September 2008, Eagle Eye co-writer Travis Wright was writing a screenplay for a new Blade Runner film Wright worked with producer Bud York for a few years on the project with his colleague John Glenn, who left the film, and by the end of 2008, he was working on the script himself. The script will explore the nature of the off-world colonies, as well as what happened to the Tyrrell Corporation in the wake of the founder's death. So, what does this mean? It means as of last summer, somebody was at least poking around the script. Now, it doesn't mean that the studio has said, we're picking up the script the moment you're done and it's a go. It at least means that one of the producers has hired somebody who has a recent hit film with a major studio to write a possible sequel to it. Now, whether this never gets off the word processor, or it becomes something, or at least gets the ball rolling for someone else, you don't know. Now, there's at least 2 more Twilight films coming. And now we're hearing, who cares if there's not a book to do it? We're going to do another Twilight film even beyond that. Whether she writes the book or not, we're going to talk about the remakes. The Last Starfighter.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Conan, possibly being Conan 3. Supposedly the Alien vs. Predator line is dead right now, and they may be doing a Predator 3. That was the big rumor, but the Predator 3 would actually be a remake about a team of Predators and a team of Commandos.
Oh.
Now, again, we're hearing rumblings, and I don't know how much of this is fanboy based and how much of this is accurate, but these keep coming through the so-called legit channels, that Ridley Scott has still not ruled out a return to doing the Alien series. And has said, you know, it might be interesting to team with James Cameron to see if we can relaunch the franchise and get it going again. Anyway, Stallone is redoing Death Wish. Should be interesting to see Stallone's take on that. And now, I mentioned the Green Lantern earlier. One of the rumored candidates is Ryan Gosling. So that's, maybe you're that. Kevin Grebo, who here, he actually created the Underworld film. He stars as Rays. He has acquired the rights to a graphic novel series called Zombies of Mass Destruction, and apparently is very interested in, they're in the process of bringing that forward. Jack Ryan 5, so they'll be doing some more of those. And Barbra Streisand has said that she is definitely going to be involved with Little Fockers, Meet the Fockers 3, so providing it goes forward. And they also have Night at the Museum 2 coming out this year as well. Now, Stallone, as I mentioned, is really rolling right now because one of the things is that there aren't really any gigantic action stars. There's not been anybody to step forward to take the mantle. They all thought Vin Diesel and The Rock would possibly do it. The Rock's moving more toward the family-friendly stuff. Vin Diesel is doing the new Fast and Furious, although there's rumors that he will get back to doing another Riddick, possibly 2 more Riddick films in the near future. But Stallone is very hot right now. The last Rambo film, huge business, did well overseas to the point where they want another one. And they're apparently rapidly trying to get another Rambo. And of course, Rocky 6 didn't do badly either, so Stallone is not busting off. Now, personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Cobra again, you know, but apparently he's looking back into something else, and he's considering Cliffhanger 2. So, you know, if you want to see him climb the Dolomite Mountains one more time. Hayden Christensen back with Jumper 2. And we will close this with, you guys remember a little TV series called V?
Yeah.
Well, apparently V, the second generation, will be coming in the not too distant future.
Sweet.
So, I interviewed Dean about a month and a half ago for his new series, Leverage. And at the end of it, I said, Dean, you know, look, everybody asks you this, I understand that. I've heard so many rumors, I just need to hear it straight from you. What's happening with Stargate and Independence Day? And he said, we'd like to do more Stargate, and of course what has happened is that the TV series went off in completely another direction. So the plan was that once the series has, his words, run its course, we could explore that. Now, Atlantis is done, the original one is done, not counting the DVD movies and stuff, but apparently Stargate Universe is coming, so that's kind of complicating things. Now, he said with Independence Day, we never considered making a sequel to it. It was always considered to be a standalone. He said, however, in recent years, that, you know, the idea of a sequel seems more and more interesting. He said then 9/11 happened, and we didn't think it was appropriate for, you know, these ships to be blasting away cities off the planet. He said now time has passed enough where we're actually exploring the idea again. He said we're not saying it's going to happen, but at least we're saying, you know, this could be an interesting thing to do, especially with the CGI being what it is now. So basically nothing yet, they're open to the idea.